If I can have your attention, we're ready to start our ceremony. Again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Awards, honoring Tennessee's best high school football players this year. We want to extend a very special welcome to those watching and listening to the awards presentation on the internet. This is the 28th year that Mr. Football Awards have been presented in Tennessee. Originally, it was a very small event in downtown Nashville. There was one winner in each of the three TSSAA classifications. Members of their immediate family attended, along with head coaches, and we had a couple of officials that attended that event. It was about 40 people in all. As the number of TSSAA classifications grew, the program also grew. In 1994, we expanded it to recognize both a back and a lineman in each of the classifications in the TSSAA. And in 2002, we began honoring the top kicker with a Mr. Football Award. In this room today, we've grown quite a bit. We have over 500 individuals in attendance, and we are delighted that each of you could be here. We'd especially like to recognize the coaches and family members of the 33 finalists with us today. Also in attendance are representatives and players from the 16 teams competing in this week's Blue Cross Bowl Championship games in Cookeville. For the third consecutive year, all 8 games will be available live on your local Tennessee PBS station, and will also be available for live and on-demand streaming on our network at TSSAAnetwork.com. Would you please join me as we recognize the 16 participating teams, and we ask that each of you to please hold your applause until all teams have been announced. I will announce the teams in the order of the games being played this weekend. Starting with on Thursday at 3 o'clock in Division II, Class A, we have Evangelical Christian School versus Webb School of Knoxville. If those two teams would stand, if they're here with us today, please remain standing. On Thursday at 7 o'clock in the Division II, Class AA contest will feature Innsworth against Memphis University School. On Friday at 11 o'clock in Division I, Class 1A, Gordonsville will face off against Huntington. Our 3 o'clock game on Friday, Class 3A game, Milan will face off against Christian Academy of Knoxville. And then at 7 o'clock on Friday, for our Class 5A championship, Beach High School will face off against Columbia Central High School. The Saturday championship games beginning at 11 o'clock, Class 2A, Adamsville will play Friendship Christian. At 3 o'clock, Class 4A, Covington High School will play Fulton High School. And then the 7 o'clock 6A game will have Whitehaven High School playing Maryville High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating these 16 teams. We would like to express our appreciation on behalf of all of our schools, our administrators, coaches, and the 33 student athletes being honored today and their families, to people who have made this day and these awards possible. Will you please join me as we recognize, and we will again ask them to stand, and please remain standing, and ask you to hold your applause until everyone is introduced. Our Executive Vice President of the Tennessee Titans, Mr. Don McLaughlin. And Mr. Kenneth Adams, Mr. Bob Hyde, and other members of the Tennessee Titans staff and their families. And if you all would just stand so we can give you all a great big round of applause for what you do for our teams. Thank you very much. To receive the Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Award is a very distinctive honor. The list of former winners includes players who have gone on to outstanding collegiate careers and some who have notable careers in the professional ranks. The names of all of our previous winners are displayed on banners throughout this room and are a permanent part of this awards event. To be selected as a finalist for this award is a distinction each nominee can be proud of for the rest of his life. The Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Award is an individual honor. It is a performance award based on the 2012 regular season and recognizes the best players in our state. Finalists are nominated in a statewide poll of high school coaches and members of the media conducted by TSSAA. A committee of statewide sports writers selects the finalists and also selects the winners. As in previous years, we ask that it be verified that each finalist is making satisfactory academic progress and that the nominee exemplifies the kind of personal character that makes him a representative of his school. And now it's time to recognize the finalists for the Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Awards for 2012. As usual, the difference between the ultimate winner and the other finalists was extremely close in every classification. So every young man being recognized today can take justifiable pride in the achievements which earned him this exceptional honor. Recognizing our finalists today, we're very proud, excited to once again have with us the voice of the Titans, Mr. Mike Keith.
Good afternoon. It's my honor to be here on behalf of the Tennessee Titans, the TSSAA, and most of all, the high school players, coaches, administrators, and family members who are here. This will be a special memory for everyone involved, and it's a pleasure to be part of this ceremony. In addition to supporting today's Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Awards, the Titans have been honoring High School Coaches of the Week since 1998. The team selects 10 Titans Coaches of the Week each year, and following the Blue Cross Bowl championships, will select a Titans Coach of the Year. The 2012 Coach of the Year will be announced on December 30th prior to the Titans game against Jacksonville. We have 3 previous Titans Coach of the Year winners with us in attendance today. They are 2003, Jeff Morris, Milan High School, 2005, George Quarles, Maryville High School, and 2009, Anthony Crabtree, Beach High School. Would those 3 coaches please stand so we can recognize them? Since the program began in 1998, Mr. Adams has now donated approximately $159,000 to high school football programs across the state in recognition of the Titans Coach of the Year and Titans Coach of the Week honors, and it's something that Mr. Adams is proud to do. Now let us begin the presentation of our awards. Making the presentation of awards today are 3 former high school athletes who are still involved at the high school level today. First, he was an all-state football player and track star at Montbello High School in Denver, Colorado. He furthered his football career at Ohio State University, where he was also an All-American in track and field and broke the indoor long jump record previously held by the great Jesse Owens. He was drafted in the 3rd round of the NFL draft by the Tennessee Oilers. In his first season, he earned all rookie honors. While he compiled many accolades for his play on the field, it is perhaps what he contributed off the field that included winning the Titans Community Man of the Year Award in 1999 that he will be remembered for the most. He was the 2nd recipient of the Pro Football Weekly Arthur S. Arkish Humanitarian Award, which recognizes an NFL player whose contributions to community and charitable causes are both outstanding and hands-on. Currently, he is in his 7th year as a high school coach and his 4th year at Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chris Sanders. Our next presenter was a USA Today Honorable Mention High School All-American at his high school in Clearfield, Utah, where his team won the 1992 state championship. He went on to play football in college at the University of Utah, but he's best known for his across-the-field lateral from Frank Wycheck in 1999, better known as the Music City Miracle. He was a member of the Titans organization from 1998 through 2002 and also played in Super Bowl 34. Currently, he is the head coach and athletic director at Independence High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kevin Dyson. Later on in our program, we'll be honored enough to introduce you to Craig Hentrick to present the Kicker Award. His formal introduction will come just before we put that award out. Assisting our presenters today, and I ask you to give them a big hand, Titans cheerleaders Stephanie and Marielle. Now we will begin introducing you to the finalists for the 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Awards. I will introduce all 3 finalists in each category, lineman and back, and in the interest of time, we'll ask you to hold your applause until all 3 have been announced. Once each division's linemen and backs are on stage, we'll introduce the winners. We'll ask the players to remain for a photo before moving on to the next division. So now all that's out of the way, let's get to it. Division 1, our Class A lineman, Malik Brewer, Boyd Buchanan High School. 6'4", 320-pound offensive guard, defensive tackle. Senior captain, 4-year starter for the Buccaneers. At the end of the regular season, he had 60 total tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. He also had 2 fumble recoveries. Malik was named to the 2012 All-District team, which was the 2nd consecutive year he's received that honor. He was preseason All-State as well, his head coach, Grant Reynolds. Tyler Cohen, Gordonsville High School, 6'3", 255-pound offensive and defensive tackle, senior captain and 4-year starter for the Tigers. This season, he recorded 52 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks. On the offensive side of the ball, he had 68 pancake blocks. In 2011, Tyler was named the Region 4 Defensive Player of the Year, All-Mid-State, All-State, and was a finalist for the Class A Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Award. His head coach, Ron Marshall. Tanner Martin, Friendship Christian School. 6 feet, 225-pound offensive guard, middle linebacker, senior captain, and 4-year starter for the Commanders. He finished the regular season with 62 tackles, 4 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. He graded out a team-high 91% on the offensive line. Tanner is a 3-time All-Region selection and was named to the All-State team in 2011. His head coach, John McNeil. These are your Division I Class A linemen. Now for your Division I Class A backs. Demetric Johnson, South Pittsburgh High School. 6 foot, 180-pound running back, cornerback, 3-year starter for the Pirates. This year, he carried the ball 115 times for 1,720 yards and 30 touchdowns. He had 13 receptions for 383 yards and 5 touchdowns. On defense, he recorded 61 tackles and 5 interceptions. Dimitrik was preseason All-State. His head coach, Vic Grider. Will McCamey, Grace Christian Academy. 5'10", 180-pound running back, defensive back, senior captain, and 4-year starter for the Rams. This year, he had 167 carries for 1,429 yards and 23 touchdowns. He had 610 receiving yards, along with 6 touchdown receptions. He finished with over 2,400 all-purpose yards for the regular season. On defense, he recorded 71 tackles and had 3 interceptions. Will is a Prep Extra first-team selection and has been selected to play in the Toyota East-West All-Star Game. His head coach, Randy McCamey. Jacob Warbritton, Huntington High School. 5'9", 185-pound quarterback and safety, senior captain, and 3-year starter for the Mustangs. During the regular season, he had 279 carries for 1,962 yards and 26 touchdowns. He completed 27 passes for 545 yards and 8 touchdowns. On defense, he finished with 62 total tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions. Jacob was named to the All-District 13A team in both 2010 and 2011 and was an All-State selection in 2011. His head coach, Eric Swenson. These are your Division I Class A backs. Now it's time to name the 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Lineman of the Year, Division I Class A. Tyler Cohen, Gordonsville High School. And the 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Back of the Year, Division I Class A, Will McCamey, Grace Christian Academy. After our pictures are made, we'd like to ask our winners to exit the stage to your left and be seated in the chairs in place. Other finalists may return to your tables when we're done with the photos. And now, Division I Class AA lineman, Brett Kendrick, Christian Academy of Knoxville. 6'5", 290-pound offensive tackle and defensive end. Senior, 2-year starter for the Warriors. He graded out at 93% and gave up no sacks over the entire course of the season. On defense, he had 26 total tackles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble. Brett has been named to the All-District 4AA team. His head coach is Rusty Bradley. Thomas Loy, Alcoa High School. 6'1", 275-pound guard. Senior, 3-year starter for the Tornadoes, who has made 40 straight starts. A preseason All-State selection. Thomas has graded out at 95%, has 130 pancake blocks, and has not allowed a sack all year. He's also been a member of offensive lines that have produced 4 individual 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Thomas has been selected to play in the Toyota East-West All-Star Game this year. Head coach, Gary Rankin. Brandon Walters, Howard School of Academics and Technology. 6'9", 290-pound offensive defensive tackle. Senior captain and 4-year starter for the Hustlin' Tigers. As an offensive tackle, he grades out at 94%. On defense, he finished the season with 83 tackles, 11.5 sacks, 27 tackles for loss, 4 fumble recoveries, and 3 forced fumbles. Brandon was named as the District 6 AA Defensive Player of the Year this season. His head coach, Michael Calloway. These are your Division I Class AA linemen. Now, your Division I Class AA backs. Al Cobb, Giles County High School. 6'3", 188-pound quarterback safety, senior captain, and 3-year starter for the Bobcats. This season, he completed 136 of 177 pass attempts for over 2,300 yards and 27 touchdowns. He threw just 1 interception. He carried the ball 98 times for 768 yards and 19 touchdowns. Al was named to the All-District team in 2010 and 2011. He was an All-State selection as a junior and was named the District 12 AA MVP this season. His head coach, David O'Connor. Charlie High, Christian Academy of Knoxville. 6 foot, 176-pound quarterback, senior captain, and 3-year starter for the Warriors. This year, he completed 253 pass attempts for 3,447 yards and 39 touchdowns. He carried the ball 34 times for 205 yards and 3 touchdowns. Last season, he set 6 state passing records, 5 of which put him in the top 10 all-time nationally. Charlie was an all-state selection and was the winner of the 2011 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Award for Class AA backs. His head coach, Rusty Bradley. Johnston White, Covington High School. 5'10", 175-pound running back safety, senior, 3-year starter for the Chargers. This season, he carried the ball 186 times for 1,909 yards and 33 touchdowns. On defense, he had over 50 tackles, 5 fumble recoveries, and 1 interception. This year, he was a preseason All-State selection and was named to the All-Shelby Metro and All-Region teams as well. Johnston was named to the All-State and All-Region teams in 2011. He holds both the single-season rushing and touchdown records at Covington. His head coach, Marty Wheeler. These are your Division I Class AA backs. It's time to name the 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Lineman of the Year. Division I Class AA. Brett Kendrick, Christian Academy of Knoxville. The 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Back of the Year, Division I Class AA is Charlie High, Christian Academy of Knoxville. Next, we move to Division I Class AAA. We begin with the linemen. Frank Herron, Memphis Central High School. 6'5", 245-pound tight end, defensive end. Senior captain, 2-year starter for the Warriors. This season, he compiled a total of 62 tackles, 14 sacks, 7 tackles for lost yardage, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 defensive touchdown. Frank is an all-district, all-metro, and all-state selection. He was named the District 16 AAA Defensive Player of the Year. His head coach, Lenord Crutchfield. Austin Sanders, Bradley Central High School. 6'6", 295-pound tackle defensive end. Senior captain, 3-year starter for the Bears. He had an average grade of 91% on the offensive line and finished with 48 pancake blocks. On defense, he had 16 tackles, 7 tackles for lost yardage, and 1 fumble recovery. Austin was an all-district and all-state selection in 2011. He has been selected to play in the 2013 Semper Fidelis All-American Bowl. His head coach, Damon Floyd. Logan Teichman, Brentwood High School. 6'5", 265-pound offensive and defensive tackle. Senior captain and 3-year starter for the Bruins. He had an average grade of 92% on the offensive line and finished the season with 43 pancake blocks. On defense, he finished with 34 tackles and 6 tackles for lost yardage. Logan has been selected to the all-district teams as both a junior and a senior. His head coach, Mark Pemberton. These are our Division I Class AAA linemen. Division I Class AAA backs. Mark Dodson, Whitehaven High School. 5'10", 190-pound running back, cornerback. Senior captain, 3-year starter for the Tigers. During the regular season, he carried the ball 208 times for over 2,000 yards and 19 touchdowns. He was named the Offensive Player of the Year in District 16 AAA and has been selected to play in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl All-Star Game. Mark was an All-State selection in 2011. He has over 6,000 rushing yards in his career at Whitehaven. His head coach, Rodney Salisbury. Jalen Hurd, Beach High School. 6'3", 215-pound junior running back, receiver, and quarterback. This year, he carried the ball 188 times for 1,973 yards and 26 touchdowns. He had 4 receptions for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. Jalen was named as the 2012 District 9 AAA Most Valuable Player and was an all-district selection in 2011. On August 24th of this year, he rushed for 451 yards in one game, the 4th most rushing yards in a game in state history. His head coach, Anthony Crabtree. Brent Stockstill, Siegel High School. 6'1", 185-pound quarterback, senior captain, and 3-year starter for the Stars. During the regular season, he completed 119 of 175 pass attempts for 1,852 yards and 22 touchdowns. He also carried the ball 80 times for 616 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's been named the District 7 AAA Most Valuable Player and was selected to the Tennesseans' Dandy Dozen. Brent was named the Tennessee Titans Player of the Week this year as well. His head coach, Greg Wyant. These are our backs, Division I, Class AAA. The 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Lineman of the Year, Division I, Class AAA is Austin Sanders, Bradley Central High School. The Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Back of the Year for 2012 in Division I Class AAA is Jalen Hurd, Beach High School. We move to Division II, Class A. We begin with the linemen. Chase Hensley, University School of Jackson. 6'2", 238-pound offensive tackle, defensive end. Senior captain, 3-year starter for the Bruins. He finished the season with 50 total tackles, 14 and a half for a loss, 2 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 safety. He was named to the 2011 All-State team and was Defensive Player of the Year by the Jackson Sun. Chase was also a finalist for the 2011 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Award. His head coach, Mickey Marley. Walker Jones, Evangelical Christian School. 6'2", 240-pound linebacker, defensive end, senior captain, and 3-year starter for the Eagles. This season, he recorded 57 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. He was an all-district selection as a sophomore and was named All-State last year as a junior. Walker was named the district defensive MVP last year as well. His head coach, Jeff Walters. Dylan Young, St. George's Independent School. 6'2", 220-pound defensive end, senior captain, and a 4-year starter for the Griffins. This year, he finished with 58 tackles, 16 and a half for a loss, 9 and a half sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and 1 blocked punt. Dylan has been selected to the All-Region team as a junior and senior. His head coach, Brent Hill. Please congratulate our Division II Class A linemen. Division II, Class A backs. Todd Kelly, Webb School of Knoxville. 6'1", 190-pound running back, wide receiver, junior, 3-year starter for the Spartans. During the regular season, he carried the ball 81 times for 937 yards and 20 rushing touchdowns. He had 8 receptions for 183 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also returned 2 punts for touchdowns. On defense, he recorded 64 tackles and had 3 interceptions, one of which he returned for a touchdown. Todd was an All-Region and All-State selection in 2011. His head coach, David Meskey. Brent Rooker, Evangelical Christian School. 6'3", 195-pound quarterback, senior captain, and 3-year starter for the Eagles. This season, he completed 151 of 215 passes for 1,939 yards and 16 touchdowns. He also had 6 rushing touchdowns on the year as well. Brent was an all-district selection as a sophomore and was district MVP and All-State in 2011. His head coach, Jeff Walters. Powers Spencer, University School of Jackson. 5'9", 185-pound running back linebacker, senior captain, and 3-year starter for the Bruins. This year on offense, he had over 1,100 all-purpose yards and 16 total touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, he had 77 total tackles, 13 and a half tackles for a loss, 1 interception, and 1 fumble recovery. Powers was an All-Region and All-State selection as a sophomore in 2010. His head coach, Mickey Marley. These are the Division II Class A backs. The 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Lineman of the Year, Division II Class A, is Chase Hensley, University School of Jackson. The Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Back of the Year for 2012, Division II Class A, is Todd Kelly, Webb School of Knoxville. Division II, Class AA lineman. Derek Barnett, Brentwood Academy. 6'4", 255-pound tight end defensive end. Junior, first-year starter for the Eagles. This year on defense, he had 26 solo tackles, 22 assists, 5.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 defensive touchdown. As a tight end, Derek had 6 receptions for 121 yards and 1 touchdown. His head coach, Cody White. Peyton Plawinski, Memphis University School. 5'10", 210-pound linebacker, senior captain, and 3-year starter for the Owls. This year, he had 88 total tackles, 25 tackles for loss, 8 quarterback sacks, and 1 interception. Peyton was named to the 2011 All-Metro team and was a preseason All-State selection as well. His head coach, Bobby Alston. Michael Sawyers, Innsworth High School. 6'2", 275-pound offensive-defensive lineman, junior, 3-year starter for the Tigers. This year, he had 25 total tackles, 9 tackles for loss, and 2 quarterback sacks. Michael was an All-State selection in 2011 and was named to the All-Region team this year. His head coach, Ricky Bowers. Please congratulate our Division II Class AA lineman. Division II Class AA backs. Cornelius Elder, Innsworth High School. 5'10", 165-pound running back, defensive back. Senior, 3-year starter for the Tigers. This season, he carried the ball 224 times for 2,228 yards and 33 touchdowns. He also had 5 receptions for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was named the 2012 Division II Class A East Middle Region Player of the Year. Cornelius was an All-Region and All-State selection last year as a junior. He was a Tennessee Titans Mr. Football finalist as a sophomore and won the award last year. His head coach, Ricky Bowers. Jalen Ramsey, Brentwood Academy. 6'1", 190-pound wide receiver and safety. Senior, 2-year starter for the Eagles. This season, he had 29 receptions for 671 yards and 10 touchdowns. On defense, he had 49 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 5 forced fumbles, and 5 interceptions. Jalen also blocked 5 punts and kicks. He was named the 2012 Tennessee Track Athlete of the Year after winning both the individual and team state championships. His head coach, Cody White. Jordan Rogers, Memphis University School. 6'1", 180-pound quarterback, senior captain, and first-year starter for the Owls. This year, he completed 168 of 266 pass attempts for 2,080 yards and 29 touchdowns while throwing just 4 interceptions. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. He holds 4 single-season passing records at MUS. Jordan was named to the All-Region team this year. His head coach, Bobby Alston. A big round of applause for the Division II Class AA backs. It's time to name the 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Lineman of the Year, Division II Class AA. Derek Barnett, Brentwood Academy. The 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Back of the Year Division II Class AA is Cornelius Elder, Innsworth High School. Now it's time for the presentation of the Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Kicker of the Year Award. The 3 finalists for this award were selected regardless of classification. Today's presenter of the award graduated from Marquette Catholic High School in Alton, Illinois. After high school, he lettered 4 years at the University of Notre Dame, serving as both the place kicker and punter. He finished his collegiate career with a school record 44.1-yard punting average and had 39 career field goals to rank second in school history. After college, he played 17 seasons in the NFL until he retired in early 2010 from the Tennessee Titans. During the course of his career, he played in 241 games, tied for 5th in NFL history among punters. He earned 2 Pro Bowl honors and played in 3 Super Bowls. His innovative knuckleball punt contributed to his reputation as one of the league's best at downing punts inside the opponent's 20-yard line. Throughout his NFL career, he developed a wealth of experience that he is now passing on to a new generation of punters and kickers with his kicking and punting instruction business, Legacy Kicking, LLC. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Craig Hentrick. Let's meet our kickers. Raphael Gaglianoni, Baylor School. 6 feet, 215-pound kicker, junior, and a first-year starter for the Red Raiders. This season, he made 12 of 15 field goal attempts and 31 of 33 extra point attempts. Raphael kicked 2 field goals over 50 yards and 3 of over 40. 52 of his 57 kickoffs went for touchbacks. His head coach, Phil Massey. Jonathan King, Farragut High School. 6 foot, 170-pound punter, place kicker, senior captain, 3-year starter for the Admirals. This year, he made 6 of 9 field goal attempts with a long of 42 yards. He made 35 of 37 extra point attempts as well. Jonathan had 34 punts on the season, his average 46.4 yards per punt, and he placed 11 inside the 20. His longest punt went for 69 yards. 38 of his kickoffs went for a touchback. His head coach, Eddie Courtney. C.J. Stafford, Houston High School. 5'10", 160-pound place kicker, junior, and a 2-year starter for the Mustangs. This year, he made 8 of 11 field goal attempts and 29 of 32 extra points. He made 4 out of 5 attempts from over 40 yards. CJ's longest field goal this year was good from 52 yards. 65% of his kickoffs went into the end zone for touchbacks. His head coach, Tim Haney. How about a big hand for our finalists for Kicker of the Year? Our 2012 Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Kicker of the Year award goes to Jonathan King, Farragut High School. "33 great finalists and 11 winners worthy of going on one of these banners for us to look at next year. How about one more hand for all of them? We're near the end of our program, and when we're done momentarily, we'll ask that all 11 winners move to the center of the stage for photographs. We'd like to provide photo opportunities for members of the media, and once they finish, parents and family members, have at it. They're all yours. Before we do that, however, we close today's program with remarks from a gentleman who was key in helping to move the Tennessee Titans franchise to the Mid-South, a man who has been integral in the team's decision to be so supportive of the TSSAA and high school sports throughout the state of Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you join me in giving a warm welcome to Titans Executive Vice President, Don McLaughlin.
Thank you very much, Mike. On behalf of our owner, Mr. Bud Adams, I want to thank you all for being here today for what is truly a great event. It is now our 6th year of being the title sponsor of the Tennessee Titans Mr. Football Awards, and we couldn't be happier. Mr. Adams is so proud of the relationship we have with Bernard Childress, and also Ronnie Carter needs to be introduced. Ronnie, thank you very much for being an integral part of getting this association started. We also feel as a true partner of everyone in this room, because it was important for Mr. Adams to be involved as the Tennessee Titans throughout the state of Tennessee with all the great student athletes that are here today, their coaches and their families. It's something that we truly cherish and value as we've been now involved, as I say, for 6 years. As you look around the banners, as both Bernard and Mike Keith addressed earlier, there are some wonderful history and student athletes that are represented throughout the years. And they'll be joined by great student athletes that were honored here today. We're here on behalf of Mr. Adams to congratulate both the winners and the finalists of this prestigious award. It's something that we know all the hard work that they put in, not just in 2012, but all the years leading up to their year on the football field this year. We also this year would like to thank and congratulate the teams that are participating in the state championship games in Cookeville this weekend and wish them all the best of luck. And also, on behalf of the Titans, would like to thank Craig, Chris, and Kevin for being here today, taking time out of their busy schedule. It's so important to the Titans organization to be involved and also have our alumni involved, role models that went on to the NFL, and hopefully a lot of you out in the room will have that opportunity as well through all the hard work that you put in on a daily basis. So with that said, we thank you again for being here. We really look forward to being involved with this again for many years to come, and please have a safe ride home. On behalf of Mr. Adams and the Titans organization, thank you very, very much for all that you do at your respective high schools and in your communities throughout the great state of Tennessee. Thank you very much.